So very good afternoon, Mom.
Hi, good afternoon.
So it's all about cheese. It's the Kase cheese. So
Yeah.
how you got the idea of making a cheese?
Okay. This was in the year 2016.
Yeah.
Before Kase, I also have an entity where we used to train and skill people with disabilities.
Okay.
So I ran this lead generation, more like this was in the year 2012 that I started this CSR initiative called Can Do, where we had to train. We were training and employing people with disabilities, and I had a 40-seater call center. So at that point of time, data related work was the major work that we were doing. And I came across hearing impaired girls and who had not completed their graduation. So they were asking me if I had some opportunity where they can also kind of benefit from the skill development program. So one thing led to another, and I spoke to a friend of mine whom I know was great with baking, and Namrata, my current partner. And so over a cup of coffee, we were talking about whether she can train these girls with hearing impairment and train them in baking or any kind of skills to do with cooking. And then, as luck would have it, Namrata had just gone on a vacation and had learned cheese making.
Yeah.
And more as a when you go to a resort, they kind of give you different experiences. And so she was part of that, and she asked if I was a game to start something that will be very, very different, that may or may not work, but more as an experiment. So on the pantry of our office at that point, it was just her, me, these two girls, my daughter. So all of us kind of used to go upstairs and get some milk every day and start making some cheese. And this was 2016. And then we started making some cheese, and then we were giving it to friends, family, for them to taste. And instantly there was an event that more like a farmers event that happened. And there is a very, very popular chef called Karen Anand, who had brought her farmers market to Chennai.
Yeah.
And I still remember it was a 2-day event, and this was happening in the, I think, Phoenix, La Ieva, I don't remember, I think it is Phoenix. And there was this farmers market, and we took a stall, and we had made a lot of cheese. So we wanted to get Chennai to taste our cheese. And the first evening was like a washout, because Chennai had such a
Tough.
no, it actually had rained. It was like full of rain, and that day was of washout. So we didn't know where this was going to take us. And the next day, thankfully, we managed to sell a lot of cheese, and we also got recognized in the award as the toast of the market.
Wow.
So it kind of gave us the confidence that this was a product that was that would reach the market, and this was something that was not done before. And we were looking at bringing out a clean product to the market, because Kase even today is a product that does not use any preservatives. We don't use any stabilizers, nothing that is generally...
Which is totally handcrafted.
Correct. And it is fully artisanal. So that's our journey into creating this brand called Kase in 2017.
Okay.
So, and here we are making some nice
It was
cheese.
like 40 varieties of cheese.
Yeah.
And one got awarded. And what is that cheese, and why it's so special?
Okay, 2 of our cheeses made into the World Cheese Awards, 2 consecutive years. So one, the cheese that made it to the World Cheese Awards was a cheese called lavender cheese. So lavender as a as a flavor, we have had a lot in pastries and
Smells,
probably
perfumes.
Yeah. So but lavender seeds infused in the cheese kind of got us this award at the World Cheese Awards. Another is a cheese where we actually wash. If you see the artisan cheese, it has a lot of mold or rind, we call it, on the skin of the cheese. That's the nature's way of protecting the inside of the cheese, but it's very flavorful as well. So we wash the rind of the cheese, and this cheese also got us an award. But I would say when we started making cheese, and my partner is very, very, good with trying new flavors and other things, we made a cheddar and we coated the cheddar with some molaga pudi, gunpowder.
Okay.
And we called it an ode to Chennai.
Okay.
The OTC, or the ode to Chennai, that started becoming a talking point. A lot of people wrote about it, and we got exactly. Yeah. So a little bit of Chennai in your cheese is how local you can get with cheese, right? So I guess, yeah.
It was that was so motivating, ma'am. Being and taking employees as disabilities and working on that and giving an award to the cheese and the Chennai flavor, the award, the Artarian cheese, the keys, everything is so motivating. But still, we want that how your career have developed into new, which means like a very more interesting, a very more motivating.
I don't even think you guys should take my example. Let me tell you why. Because I did my basic graduation was in chemistry. 3 years after chemistry, I knew one thing. I was just telling my the friends that I was talking to today. The one thing that I knew was I didn't want to do anything with chemistry after 3 years. Okay. And then I moved my career. I switched to doing my master's in social work. And
which is the MSW in Chennai.
Yes, MSW from the Madras School of Social Work. And then I joined the Banyan, which is an NGO in Chennai, as a social worker. Wonderful journey there as a social worker for 5 years, because I was in charge of this rehabilitation unit. And you will find people actually hit rock bottom. These are women who are picked up from the streets. They undergo, psychological help and then psychiatric intervention, and you see that they totally rebound and become as normal, or as, how we are talking, that's how they become. And afterwards, they go back to their families. We try to, trace their families and other things. So you can actually see a person who's from the down, coming up and above, and then going back to their lives. So this was a transformation that kind of, stays with me forever. So I've always thought that people land up in these kind of difficult situations, but a little bit of, effort from our end, or, even if we give a little bit of a concern, they will be able to, get back, or, go on to becoming what they were supposed to be earlier. So this was always there. So in 2008, when my husband started his company, I was a co-founder, and I partnered, and this is a market research company. But even from when we started work, having this company, we've always looked for hiring people with disabilities. Basically for roles like calling or other things, because we found that a lot of visually impaired people learned the skill of calling. Telecalling is a skill that they have. Most of the institutions that they are from give them this skills training. And so we picked them up and then had them as telecallers in our company. And 2012 was when I actually submitted a business plan to an ISB program that I was a part of, a 10,000 Women's Scholar program. And 2012 was when I, started Can Do, which is the initiative that I talked about earlier. So when people come, all that they are looking for is an opportunity. So we were able to provide them that opportunity, and then they were there. They used to work with us, and that's one thing that we always told them. Think of this as your first career opportunity. Once you are confident, once you get a better role outside of this company, you take that on, so that we will be able to take on more people, skill them. And then so this was something that went on very well, and we were working for a lot of startups, doing lead generation activity for them. And then COVID happened. And just before COVID could happen, I had floated Kase as a separate entity, because under Can Do there was only so much that we could do, but Kase was more like a direct to consumer brand, which needed a different kind of a setup totally. But the thought behind Kase was basically to provide skills, which we did. We started these started with 2 hearing impaired girls, and then COVID happened, and we had to closed down Kandu because all the resources went back to their native villages. Whereas with Kandu, which with Kase, it was like a very, very local kind of a brand, Chennai based brand. But post COVID, a lot of inquiries started coming from all over the country. People in Bombay, Delhi, everybody wanted to taste our cheese. So we kind of took Kase to a pan India kind of a brand. And 8 years into making some amazing artisan cheese, we've kind of reached our cheese to almost all corners of the country.
That was a pan-India movement.
Yes, so yeah, one led to another. So that's how I've been kind of moving from one role to another, and the journey has been great.
Ma'am, on studying bachelors and postgraduates, we are not even onto the career paths, but your both degrees have worked on your career.
Yeah.
That was so motivating and encouraging. Ma'am, on my question again, what leadership principles have helped you to succeed in a consulting and a business solution that you work upon?
See, if you are talking about leadership, I would say that the best leader will be somebody that will not want to be the leader and who will be there all the time. Leaders should be more enablers.
Okay.
So if there are these people who want to kind of work under you, and then if they are the ones that need you and support you, then give your inputs at that point of time. But then you need to step back and then allow that person to kind of grow, because otherwise, end of the day, I will be the one that will be sitting and doing everything, whereas I will not allow this person to grow under me. Because according to me, I think it's not letting the person loose. You are giving your input only when there is a need, or only when they kind of come to you and ask for your inputs.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think the best form of leadership will be something that you allow the person to kind of grow under you.
Yeah.
Mistakes everybody will make. Just make sure that they don't repeat the same mistakes.
Be the big
Provide
learner.
them the help and the little bit of a nudge that they will need. Because I think when I started my career, that was something that I received.
Yeah, ma'am.
So that is very, very important, and I think I am able to do that today with people that work under me and come under me.
Ma'am, last question to you.
Sure.
What skills should young professionals develop to succeed in their own business ways?
Lovely. See, one thing about having a social work background and also working in the cheese making thing is patience.
The process.
Because when you make cheese, it is not something that is available to you to have straight away. You add some culture to it, you wait for the cheese to ripen, and then you add a little bit of the rennet to it, and then so it is a process. And some of the cheeses, from the time that we make the cheese to when it hits the market, takes at least 5 to 6 months. So all that the cheese asks for is some patience from us. So that is something that I have learned. And also with social work as well. It's not like you're talking about people that you're working with, right? And that is something that I think children of this age are always looking at instant gratification.
Yeah.
I don't say it is bad, but the thing is, you need to give some time for anything to evolve.
Yes.
So if you have the amount of patience, you will be able to achieve much more rather than doing things in haste. That is one thing that I would definitely want to tell. The other thing is be open-minded. This is something that I also mentioned some time ago. So be open to learning newer things. Be open to get, I would say, advice. Try and talk to people who they're not, successes or anything because they knew everything. These are people who have made mistakes, who have learned from their mistakes, and there is something that they will be able to offer to you. So if you are able to kind of, be open-minded and listen to them. See, I mean, even in our own households, we don't listen to people because we feel that, hey, the person is giving me a lecture, it's boring and all that. But if you actually give some time to what they're telling, it will make a lot of sense, very practical sense. So these two things I would definitely want to, tell people like you, young people like you,
Yeah,
to follow. And then it's just the beginning of your career. There is a long way to go. You'll come across very, very interesting experiences.
Thank you.
And yeah, good luck.
Now it's like the process of cheese, and we should also have the patience of evolving.
Totally. The more you wait,
The more
the
you
better
get
the result will be. So
Thank you,
yeah,
Ma'am, we also expect certain internships from our students to you.
definitely.
That
So internship opportunities are definitely available in different kind of roles and all that.
Okay.
But we are like a bootstrapped entity as
Okay.
far as Kase goes. And definitely there will be some opportunities that will be available for students at Can Do. Also, we always look for young energetic minds to come and give in their contribution to the organization. So definitely we can take it on a one-on-one
Yeah,
kind
ma'am,
of
sure. The pleasure is ours, ma'am.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank
lovely.
you for again.